Jami got to making Christmas ornaments the other day in our live video and she got inspired to decorate. We always do some sort of handmade craft for Christmas decorations. Last year we did the whole thing, but this year I think we're only gonna do a couple.
This year we've got the farmhouse to work on, so we're gonna go ahead and get our Christmas tree decorated with all the ornaments from last year, and we're gonna show you one new ornament idea that we came up with, cardboard.
You just want these on here randomly?
Yeah, I mean they need to be spaced evenly, but you gotta put them on to know.
You gotta space them even, but not have them look even.
Yes.
And the colors have to be random too, right?
Yeah. Good luck. I feel like this year the red really sticks out with
The white
the
tree.
white tree.
Yeah, it's good. It looks cool. It really came together quickly. It's one of our fastest trees. Because how long have we been doing this? 10 minutes?
Oh, decorating? Yeah. But we're not done yet.
I feel like the tree cannot handle any more.
We're gonna make some more ornaments.
Those limbs are heavily laden with snow.
Oh gosh. So last year we did all of our handmade ornaments, and I decided that this year we're just doing one new handmade ornament on the tree.
Well, everything is already still made and we still have it, so you know, you could only fit so much on the tree.
Well, you never know. And we'll see, you know, I might get inspired part of the way through the season and come up with something new. But today we're gonna be using cardboard because we have a ton of it. And basically it's free because we have boxes and boxes we receive with product in them. So we've got our old school vintage cutter here. It works because Zeb can sharpen this and it is a pretty sharp blade. Some of these cutters can't quite go through cardboard. If you don't have access to this and you have patience, you can just use regular scissors and you could score it with maybe like an X-Acto knife.
Patience is key.
So our final size was 3.5 inches by 5.5 inches. It worked with the size cardboard that we have, but you can use any size that works with the recycled cardboard. We've got DIY paint in black velvet. It's like a soft black, not a dark one. And we've decided to go with dark backgrounds on these because we feel like it'll show up the best against our very white flocked tree.
Yeah, we've already got a lot of red and green and things going on and white, so we're gonna do a little bit more of a contrast here with the dark. So Jami made these the other day on our live video, just like a real quick thing. So we wanted to do a tutorial on them, kind of show you guys some ideas and give you some tips we found. If you paint both sides quickly, you won't get the curling. If you just paint one side, let it dry, and then paint the other side, your cardboard might curl. We had a couple that didn't, but a couple that did, so just be aware of that.
Another trick though is you can put them in like underneath like a heavy book or whatever, and that'll straighten them out too. It really works better with cardboard as opposed to like cardstock, because cardstock is not thick enough to hold up to the things we're going to do to these.
Yeah, we're adding many layers onto this.
Yeah. So the next step is we're gonna be adding some Iod stamps and ink. We're using the erasable ink because when you put it on a porous surface, it no longer is erasable. You can also just use the white mixing ink that works well from Iod. You can pick these products up at jamirayvintage.com. We're gonna be using the Bohemian Stamp as well as Kindest Regards, which is like a French script. If you're local to Utah, you can always stop by the Jami Ray Vintage store. The link is below for the address, and we carry all these supplies in stock so you can get your hands on them right away. So this is the Bohemian Stamp, and I'm just doing the background with this. So Zeb didn't get even pressure on there, and that kind of gives you a distressed look. If you want it to be perfect and not miss anything, just make sure you're hitting that stamp all over.
Okay, so I'm just going to kind of eyeball where this goes so I don't have to fill my whole stamp up with ink. We leave our kindest regards on the backer. We like to use it as an entire stamp.
We'll link below, but Debbie actually just did a video where she used the ink and the stamps and the JRB stencils for wrapping paper. And the technique is the same, it's just the medium instead of cardboard. She just uses brown packing paper and it makes beautiful wrapping paper. Oh, that stamp must have been a little wet. I've inked up another portion of the Bohemian Stamp. I'm gonna carefully lay it down onto my piece. If you don't like black and white, you can do these with the colored inks or bright paint, and then you get less of a farmhouse look and you can get a totally bohemian look with the same products, just different colors.
So we got a little bow out of a couple of them, but what we'll do, that could also just be the box the way it was. What we'll do is we'll just flatten these under something heavy, a couple books or something for an hour or two, and it'll be fine.
Or we'll just leave them the way they are because nobody's gonna be able to tell. Okay, so the next step is we're gonna be adding some molds to these.
Oh, I'm taking it next level with molds.
Upgrade. We're using the Birdsong Mold. So birds are usually considered a peace symbol, which I feel like is pretty Christmassy. And so I'm just gonna...
She's using cornstarch. We've used various mediums to try to get the release on the molds, and the cornstarch definitely works the best. There you go.
So we're using air dry clay. It's paper clay made by Iod. It's hands down the best clay you'll ever use. We have tried a few different kinds, and this one is the easiest, and it works much like Play-Doh. So you're gonna push this down into your mold and then push against where the micro rim is. It's patented by Iod, and you want it to be as crisp as possible because we're gonna be painting these before we glue them on. You can also use the applicator tools for the transfers and use those to scrape across it. If you cornstarch it, it will help it release so much easier. Other pro tip, make sure you're sticking your clay in the bag when you're not using it and zipping it up tight because it will dry out. And even though it is functional dry, when it gets too dry, it makes it much more difficult. We've got our 3 molds all ready to go, and we're gonna paint them before we put them on our cards. Okay, so we've got Marquee by DIY Paint that I'm just gonna go ahead and brush these birds with, and then we'll let them dry while we're working on a few other designs. Zeb is using the number 20 stencil brush and Monet's Garden. Monet's Garden is to me, it's a foresty green, which is perfect for Christmas trees.
All right, so we've got 3 different trees on this Farm Fresh Christmas tree stencil. This is one of our JRV stencils, and we're gonna do 3 different ones on 3 different trees. It's gonna be a theme.
I think I want to do a chicken.
Oh, a chicken on one,
I'm thinking
huh?
I'm gonna do a chicken on that one.
You gonna do a red chicken?
I don't know, what color do you think? I was gonna do red, kind of keep it uniform.
Yeah.
You know what you could do?
You need me to put some ornaments on the trees?
No. You could take the stencil, put it back on top of it, and then stamp over the top of the stencil, and then you could stencil just the tree. Okay, so the next part is glitter, Zeb's favorite. I'm just making like a little glitter line because we're just gonna glitter the edge of these. I like to use a paper plate so that way I contain the glitter, and then I have a piece of parchment paper that I can put them on when I'm done.
Contain the glitter. That's not a real thing, I don't think.
Well, when you're all done, I hear you can spray with like hairspray or something, and that helps keep it. I'm like, whatever, no big deal. Okay, so I'm just using clear craft glue. Would you grab me a little brush? Because I kind of want to do the edge of these. And then you just dip it in the paint while Zeb does the other side. Oh, look, it's glittery. See, there you go.
All right.
First side down.
So surprisingly, most of the glitter was contained. So I've just got Gorilla Construction Adhesive, and I'm gonna apply it here on the back of the mold, or casting, or however you prefer. Then I'm gonna use just a finish nail to spread it around where I need it, because this stuff is thick and it doesn't like to just be where you put it. It wants to drag all over the place, so.
And our molds are not quite dry yet, and we pre-painted them, which means that it's not like we can come in later and stuff paint in the cracks if it rides up. We've got to really get all those edges sealed down before we put it on top of our project here.
Okay, so now I'm just
Delicately
spreading this out to the edge.
I did one earlier with, I'll show you, I used the glue, like the school glue, which will hold it on there, but it takes a really long time to dry. So if you have patience and you can let it dry, just use the clear school glue and let it dry overnight and you should be good.
Just centered?
Yep, just centered. Oh well. We had paper clay on hand, but resin probably would have been the better application. All right, now we need these two birds glued down. All right, so I just got white wax and my flat top brush. You could do this with a wax brush too. And I'm just coming through with the white wax and adding a little bit of snow to my tree. You could also do this with a very dry brush and paint. And I'm gonna come and white wax these. You want your paint to be all the way dry before you do this.
Tell them.
All right, I'm just coming across to soften this on these trees with a lint-free rag. Just smearing out the white wax. So if you were using paint, you would have to leave it stippled the way that it was, which is a fine look, but I'm just smearing it out. Mostly I'm hiding some imperfections, but I think it looks pretty good. Then I'm gonna come across very softly because this clay is not cured. And I'm gonna pull back some of this wax. All right, so we're just gonna use baker's twine. You could also use ribbon. I like baker's twine because it looks like a candy cane. So then we've got like that, and then we'll just tie it on the top. I feel like yours is better because mine is a small, like it's gonna have to be a branch that's not super big. All right, Zeb's the poster child as per usual.
It's not true.
It's true.
I get in all kinds of trouble.
All right guys, we are that much closer to getting ready for Christmas. The tree is completely done. I think we did a great job of using some cardboard and products that we had on hand just to create a unique ornament to celebrate this year. If you want to achieve a similar look, make sure you hit up JamiRayVintage.com for the paint, the molds, the stamps, and the JRB stencils that we used today.
So everything on this tree, with the exception of the berry picks and the pine cones, was handmade, whether this year or last year. We'll leave the link for the videos on how we did the rest of these ornaments below if you want to check those out.
Be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Jami Ray Vintage for more
DIY.
Hit the subscribe button.